Welcome to Worship Artistry. My name's Daniel Ornelas. I'm the bass instructor over here at Worship Artistry. I've been playing professionally and been in the music business collectively for over 40 years, and I still get to play bass in church, which is amazing. Come with me on an adventure today as we learn more about groove. Let's dive in. So what is a groove? Let's just look at the word for starters, right? So if you took a file and filed a groove into a piece of wood, then anything that slides down that wood would run into that groove and kind of stick with it and travel down that groove. So everything kind of comes together. A groove is when the whole band creates something together that feels a specific way. It makes you dance. It makes you feel like, oh, this is that song or this is that genre. It's very specific to make you feel happy and make the song feel like it should. That's the typical way to do it. And when you have a rhythm section that's comprised usually of bass and drums, not just bass or drums, or just drums or bass. It could also be the rhythm guitar or anything that else is creating rhythm to add to that specific feeling, which is really what the groove is. And usually it's typically something that the kick drum is doing and the bass is following along with. The best way to find the groove is to actually find it before you have to play the song and know what it is and know how to notate that on your chart or somewhere so that you can remember what the groove of that particular song is. I've got some examples here I want to show you of different grooves. Check this out. Now, if you noticed in the first time I played and I followed along with the kick drum and I played 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. The second time I played eighth notes, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which means I'm actually accenting the groove, but not just playing the groove, so that it is a little bit more driviness to the feel. Hope that makes sense to you. So typically grooves that are a little bit more off-center and land on the is and ands of counts like 1E, a 2E, and a 3E, and you'll see some of those grooves. Those lean to more towards kind of funk music or more gospel kind of music. Rock music is pretty more straightforward. It's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, like that, for example, is a kind of a rock groove. So the groove can change in a song, and a lot of the songs on Worship Artistry, because they're kind of more soft rock kind of feel, is that they start off with whole notes on the verse, maybe, for example, where you're playing 1, 2, 3, and then you're changing up to your maybe another note, 3, 4, 1, and you're changing just on the whole notes. So that's still groove, even though you're just landing on the first kick drum. That's just a simple groove, right? So you don't need to panic too much. And if you feel like any of the grooves are very difficult to learn initially, on Worship Artistry we have 2 different speeds that we play them at. I'll show you the groove with a click track that's slow, and I'll show it to you at the regular speed of the song. You'll also be able to loop through the section as many times as you want till you've got that really, really dialed in and you know it really well and it's kind of settled into your bones. Once you've got that section, you go, oh my gosh, the whole groove changed in the chorus. What's that about? Well, that's because it creates different dynamics and it creates a different piece that feels different and it lifts probably more into the chorus. So you got to learn a new groove. And once you've practiced that and got that dialed in, you'll see how effective it is for the song. So we're playing single notes, then we move to maybe quarter notes as it goes into the pre-chorus, and we're playing on every beat of the bar. So 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, and then you might go into the chorus playing eighth notes, and that's when the song's really kind of picked up and you're subdividing your parts down again to eighth notes, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then right at the end you might even go into sixteenths because you want to really amp it up. That's 16th notes, which is kind of really tight subdivisions, but that's often how the groove is created in the type of songs that we have on Worship Artistry. It's usually like either no playing at the beginning, which is still grooving, or else it's kind of getting to the point where you kind of up the subdivision till it's really fast. And then towards the end of the song, you might dial back down again and play whole notes again or disappear completely out of the mix. And by not playing, you're supporting the groove like you should. Okay, for this last tip, I just want to talk to you about how the rhythm section actually works beautifully and harmoniously together. Like, I remember being in the living room and someone saying, "Oh, you're a bass player, play something for us." And it's so awkward because it's like walking in with one leg, because only half of you really is there if you're the rhythm section. And this is the same as drums. If you listen to someone just playing drums in the living room, it gets boring pretty quick. And that's because the groove that's created by the drums and the bass fit together really well to create music, basically. And so what happens with the kick drum is it's got a punchy sound. And what happens with the bass, you've got a melody to it because you're changing the melody, and the chords that you're changing are providing melody. So what really happens in the groove is the kick drum is lending punch to my bass note, and I'm lending melody to the kick drum so that we create music. And that's how it works. So those are my thoughts on groove. I know you might have different thoughts. I'd love to hear them in the comments section below. What I'd love for you to do is just go over to Worship Artistry, sign up for a free account if you don't have one, and look at all those songs. We've got hundreds of songs that all have different grooves, and some of them have very similar grooves, and you'll go, hey, this is the same as that other one. And that's the fun part about music. The more you learn, the more you get to know, the more comfortable you feel. Check out the link in the description below for everything we just talked about. See you in the next video.